Hello, this is Craig from Bitzbox.co.uk. It's time for another little Q&A video. So if you have any questions you'd like me to answer in any of these videos, just please leave a comment below and I'll get to them in the next video. So there's only a few questions in this video, but I did want to make a little video to answer them anyway, so hopefully it'll be short and sweet. Okay, so we'll begin. So Alex asks, are you planning on expanding the Orc and Tyranid lines to include the full model line? Now, the answer to this will apply to any line. Short answer is no. Basically, since the relaunch of the site, I've decided to completely just not do any big kits or vehicles, simply because a lot of the smaller parts will sell from these, and they don't really make up the money that I've actually spent on purchasing them. And yeah, so a lot of the vehicles and larger kits I'll lose money on, so not always. Sometimes some of them will sell better than others, and some of the flyers are pretty good, but it's normally like the main chassis of any tank or flyer just doesn't sell, and that's like the most, that's always going to be the most expensive part that makes up most of the model. So yeah, and not only that, it's just a space thing as well. They take up so much space. The way I sort out bits is fine for little bits and infantry boxes, but when you start getting bigger vehicle pieces, I don't really have anywhere to put them, so then they just get put in their box or they're left on the sprue, so therefore they're not sorted out with model numbers or anything. That's just too much hassle, really, especially for stuff that don't really make any money. In regards to like fine cast stuff or the single miniatures, again, it's just something I don't really like stocking. When it comes to single miniatures like the clan pack stuff or just a fine cast special character, they come in so few bits that normally you might have like a torso and legs in one bit, what makes up most of a model, and then for me to make a profit, I have to sell that bit at almost the cost of the actual model itself. And then if you were to go onto a discount store like Wayland Games or something, you could probably pick up the whole model for the same price that I might have to sell these large bits, because I always I have to get stuff from retail price GW, because it's just GW for you. Now other fine cast sets, of course, you get miscast stuff, which is a pain, and there's not really much demand for them. A couple of Space Marine ones were more popular and they might come back, but I don't have any plans in the near future. So yeah, so short answer is no. I just want to keep it to plastic box sets and infantry, and then of course the smaller the ranges, the more I can then focus on keeping it stocked better. And then once everything is sort of stocked better, I can then move on to expand the lines if I decide to. Okay, so next question. Okay, so this is Dreamscape. Good video, but would recommend blanking half of somebody's name out if you're going to show on screen a question. As you see in the last question, I did that. I think this was mentioned on Facebook as well, and yeah, people are writing these questions publicly on Facebook and their full names displayed, so on the video, I don't think it would make much difference, but I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, so for privacy purposes and such, good Q&A video, thank you. Right, a more serious question now, which is something I've always wondered. What got you into the concept of starting an online store and selling individual bits? So I'll answer this one first, because it's quite an interesting story, and I might ramble on a bit here. But we sort of have to go way back to when I was in college. At the time I did a BTEC in ICT, which is sort of like equivalent to 3 A-levels. And I also did a course called e-business, which is basically all about online businesses. So it was always something I was really interested in, was computing and online businesses. And then after college, you just shoved out into the big wide world, and I weren't really too interested in going to university, because I wasn't really too sure what to study, and I thought, well, maybe at least take a year out to decide. And being all young and naive, I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a job in that time, and I didn't. So as I had a lot of spare time, I sort of really got into like learning more on HTML and CSS code, and because I learned some of that in college. So I expanded on that, and then me and a friend decided to start a little web design business, and we went on a business course, and we got some help setting that up, which was really good. We networked with quite a few people, made a few websites, and it wasn't making a lot of money, but it was a lot more than we'd get just for being jobless. So we did that for a few months, and then one day we were actually playing tennis, and we were just talking about what else we could do to make extra money. And I said, well, we both used to play this thing called Warhammer. At the time, I sort of got out of it, and I got all these spare bits. We could sell some of them online, even set up a site because we know how to do that. And then I still used to visit like places like Warsaw and that quite a lot, and so sort of asked around if people would be interested in such a service. I think someone else at the time were actually quite interested in doing a similar thing, and they actually decided not to. Excuse me, my phone going off. Just put that there. They decided not to, and I think they actually got some stuff in, and we eventually bought them off them. But anyway, at the time as well, there was only, I think it was Battle Wagon Bits back in the day. They were the only other website out there who was doing this. And of course now there's quite a few, and there's eBay sellers, etc. But there's no one else. So we thought we'd start that, and we just got the site set up, posted around on Warsaw and stuff like that. Did some advertising on some podcasts, and it just grew and grew, and eventually it just overtook what we were making from the web design business, because it's such a competitive market. It was fine when we first started because we networked with a lot of local people who were starting businesses as well, and we made websites for them. But after a while, it just sort of settled down, and this sort of took over, and I run it on my own now. But after a couple of years, we're making decent money to sort of live on, and it's my main job now. And I still think there's more I can do with a site, and I can, if I can just get more stock in and turn around quicker and that, and eventually I do want to get some staff. I've had part-time staff in the past as well, so it's really grew from that. I never thought, it was never something I wanted to do. Like, well, I thought, I'd love to sell Warhammer bits online. It's just something like, well, I've got all these bits, I might as well sell them. It was always originally just going to be to make extra cash, and it just grew, and now, been doing it for 9 years, and I love it, and hopefully I just keep continuing doing it for as long as I can make a living out of it, really. So that's how I got into selling bits. Okay, so Dreamscape also asked another question. In tabletop gaming, who do you think are the toughest Chaos Marines with regards to what god they serve? Example, Plague Marines versus Noise Marines versus Thousand Suns versus Berserkers. Well, if I take your question literally, then I'll have to say Plague Marines because they have an extra toughness. But regardless of that, I think it's probably a toss-up between Khorne Berserkers and Plague Marines. Maybe a bit biased because they're both my favourite, but Berserkers are just mad maniac killers. They probably don't think too much about their own pain. They'll just run in and just charge and just go wild, swinging chain axes, etc. And Plague Marines, they're tough to kill for a reason, because they're all just rotten and diseased, and you blow an arm off a Plague Marine, he probably doesn't even notice. So yeah, I love Plague Marines, so I would probably say them anyway. Okay, so moving on. Okay, Brian asks, and he's also Dreamscape, as I assume from this question. So, third question, asked to on YouTube. Since you're a Chaos player, there's been vague fluff regarding a fifth Chaos god born because of humanity's sins and greed, hate, betrayal, psychic energy, etc., etc. If you could, what kind of fifth Chaos god would you create? Name, powers, etc. Phew, that's a That's a big question. I have so little creativity that I certainly probably couldn't come up with a cool name. Of course, I was like originally like a 5th Chaos God, if you Google that. You know, call him a Lal or something, but GW didn't have the rights to that god anymore, so that's what we've got. And of course, then we've got the Horned Rat now, but we'll just assume we're talking about 40k here. So when I look at the gods, I think they've all got their own different sort of abilities. So like Khorne, sort of, you know, Khorne minions sort of focus around close combat. Nurgle's around sort of toughness and being hard to kill. Then you've got Tzeentch, it's all about psychic powers, and then Slaanesh, obviously is a god of excess and that, and sort of Noise Marine's all sort of about shooting. So if you're going to do it in like game terms, then maybe you could have like a god that's focused around sort of speed or something. So you could just a thought, or maybe even one was more about shooting than sort of Slaanesh is. I don't know really. It's yeah, it'll take someone much more creativity than me to come up with another god. I don't think there should be any more, but yeah, that's a very, very tough question to answer. But like I say, maybe if you had, obviously you talk about humanity's sin, so maybe if you had something focusing on a different sin, maybe, or maybe some sort of like trickster god or something like that would be quite cool. But I don't know. I really don't know. But thanks for your questions. We do have one more, and this is from G Ambulance Service on YouTube. It's also a very interesting question. How do you describe to non-war gamers what you do for a living? It's quite an interesting question, because I actually asked this same question to Matt at Mini Wargaming on one of his sit-in talks well over a year ago. Because at the time I'd just gotten with my girlfriend and I had to sort of explain what I did for a living to her parents, and that was like, it's weird, because when you some people know what Warhammer is and some people don't. And when someone knows what Warhammer is, and that's great, I just say that I just sell Warhammer for a living, and simple as that. I had a guy come in a couple of days ago because I'm looking to get in where we do the film and the back reps. I'm looking to get that renovated, and you know, he knew what Warhammer was, and I was like, oh, I just sell. That's what I sell for a living. He's like, oh, cool. When someone don't know what it is, I'll say like maybe I sell plastic parts for models or toy models or something like that. I don't really go into great detail. Sometimes I'll say that and people like, some people will be like, oh, what, like Warhammer? I'm like, yes, like Warhammer. But yeah, it's hard. It's sometimes hard to explain, but you just have to be. I just be vague about it. I don't go into too much detail. I just say, well, I just sell the parts. So yeah, I always think if I went on a game show or something and they ask me what I did for a living, it's like everyone will give really vague answers, and I'll be there for a half hour trying to explain what I do. It's just it's something different, isn't it? But hey, I love it. So I hope you enjoyed this quick little video, and it gives you a few more insights into myself and the company. As I said, that will be another video. If you've got any other questions, please leave them below. I actually really enjoy answering people's questions. My throat always goes a bit dry during these, as it's been noted in the past, so I do apologise if I go a bit croaky and I ramble on too much. That's just how I am, I'm afraid. So please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in the next video.